The world is no longer a global village, it is a neighborhood. Generations come and go, but the gist they start lingers. The platform that sustains those gists is here. Be a part of the conversation on Generations Gist with Joy, from policymakers to politicians, medical personnel to traders, labor leaders to students, the young and the old. It's Generations Gist with Joy on this channel every Saturday at 9 a.m. with a repeat broadcast on Sunday at 9 a.m.
It's your generation, it's my generation, it's our generation.
Come, let's tag along on Generations Gist with Joy. Please join us.
Hello viewers, welcome to Generations Gist with Joy. Generations Gist with Joy is a show where we x-ray and showcase how generational transition and individual experiences and relationships have impacted and shaped contemporary human behavior and national development and advancement. Today's conversation promises to be refreshing, educating as usual, and inspiring. Please do relax and enjoy it. I am your host, Joy Ono. But before we continue, we want to go on a very short break. Please stay tuned. You are welcome back. Our discussion today centers on the social media and generational impacts. Social media over the last 2 decades has become a part of the culture of this generation as it impacts differently on different individuals and generations. In fact, social media as an integral part of our lives today enhances connectivity and communication. Be that as it may, so many researchers and observers believe strongly that social media and internet usage also lead to tremendous negative impact on the people, especially the youth, family, and by extension, the nation. To discuss this very important topic with me in the studio is a prolific writer who has authored a number of books. A human rights activist, was one of the leading figures in the struggle for democracy in Nigeria. As a result, was arrested and jailed by successive military regime in Nigeria, contested governorship seats in Kaduna State, became a senator in 2015 representing Kaduna Central at the 8th National Assembly. Public policy analyst he is. He's a high-profile politician, a motivational talker with a high traffic on social media. Welcome, Senator SHEHU SANI.
Thank you for having me in your
Senator,
program.
you're welcome on Generations Gist with Joy. I'm so glad to have you this morning. Thank you so much. Yeah, the question now. There's been a raging debate across the globe about more stringent regulation on the use and consumption of social media content. What are your views or your thoughts about this?
Well, thank you again for having me in your program. Well, the emergence of social media in the media realm of the world has changed the thinking, the thoughts, the ideas, the vision, the perception, the process, and the way people communicate with each other. First of all, the positive side of it is that it has been able to make information accessible to almost everyone, and has also been able to make communication easier for everyone. it has also been able to provide the tool for people to hold the government to account, to express their opinion on, and then make people connect with each other in terms of exchange of information and ideas and opinions to all parts of the world. It brought the world closer.
Okay.
So unlike what used to be before the coming of social media, for the generation that lived before then, we know very well that we have to wait the next day to get the news, go to a newspaper stand, and also we search for the news. Now the news search for us. And there is a limit to information you can access, and there is also a limit to number of people you can meet, you can reach out to, you can transmit your information. That was the era before the social media. But the negative aspect of the social media is that it has made people unnecessarily addictive and obsessed with it, to the point that in as much as it is a platform for exchange of information, views and ideas, it also became a tool for which fake information can be created and also can be disseminated easily. It also became a source for disinformation and misinformation. Before the social media, you would depend on credible sources for information, whether they are broadcast medium or print medium. But now everyone has simply become not a journalist, but a transmitter of information, and most of it can be fake. So the situation we find ourselves is that we have a new invention that is changing our lives, that is impacting positively on our lives, that is making our lives easier, but it's also the same tool that can be dangerously used by the negative elements in our society to destroy us. So I have seen the Instagram, the TikTok, the Facebook, the Twitter, Snapchat and LinkedIn and all those things here. They have helped businesses. People can sell to people they have never met. People can advertise their product to people they will never meet in their lives. And people can buy things from people they don't have to see, they don't have to meet, they don't have to know. So it is easier. So I can say it is both an instrument that can be used for good and for evil.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, having said that, you know, social media, like you said, could be used for buying and selling. Having said that, will you say the Nigerian laws are adequate enough to cope with the increasing encumbrance of the social media?
Well, you see, when I was in the Senate, there were attempts, and even when I left, by the National Assembly, which is the parliament of this country, to regulate the activities of the social media. The lawmakers felt that if the social media is not regulated, that it has the capacity of incinerating a whole country. It has been used to bully people, to incite for crimes. It has also been used to promote violence and other nihilistic agenda. And it has also been used by terror groups, fraudsters, criminals, and it has also been a source of creating chaos and lawlessness in the society. So some people felt that they need to regulate the social media so that the negative aspect of it can be excised. And it's not just particular with Nigeria. It is also with countries, even United States, even Europe, even Australia. I have read somewhere where even advanced democracies are rising to the discussion and the conversation going on.
Okay.
That if social media is not regulated, that it has a very dangerous tendencies to destroy human civilization, especially with the coming of the AI now, makes things even more worse, if there is any word like that. Now, the concern of the human rights groups is that lawmakers or people in government are not concerned about social media being used to destroy a nation or to promote violence. Is that they are disturbed by the fact that it has become a tool for which people hold them to account.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they are discomforted by the fact that ordinary people now have a tool with them that they can call people in power out. Whether you are a governor, a president, a minister, a lawmaker, or the federal or state assembly, you can be called out. And the good thing about the social media is that many things government is not willing to do. When they see it on social media, they rush. For example, from the train station to train station Kubwa to the Abuja city, there is a road that is having a pile of rubbish. People just dump rubbish there.
Yeah.
And it's been there up to this moment we're talking. It's been there. But it only takes one person to pick his camera and video that rubbish and attach either the name of the minister or the lawmakers or the president or whatever and post it online. And I bet you in the next 48 hours, you will see an action being taken. So there are also lawmakers who are being queried, who are being questioned because power needs to be questioned.
Yeah.
And before the coming of social media, people find it difficult to reach out to those they elected. But you can see it happened recently in Sokoto where a lady was arrested for calling out the governor. And she did it using the social media platform. So those in the position of authority and power felt that if they are discomforted, because I knew when I was in the parliament, many of our colleagues don't want to open a social media account. There are few of us that are ready to take the heat, because it is when you have a social media account that you can easily be tagged and be mentioned, and then you have to act. So, and you can also be insulted and abused. So they feel that they don't want to be held to account as far as that is concerned. So if we now agree to regulate the social media, what is likely going to happen is that aspect where people in government will be held to account will also be affected, because there will be a lot of clauses and insertions and laws that will even make it difficult for people to express. If you can remember, during Buhari administration, Twitter was banned for some months. And then people used the VPN to access it and then still continue to do what they want. So I felt that we have enough laws, because we have laws on defamation and libel. And if you post anything on Twitter or Facebook that defames somebody's character, that maligns somebody's character, that destroyed somebody's reputation, that law can be used against you. So if we have that law, I don't see the reason why we should. And that law applies to what is on social media. Because what you say on radio, what you say in a gathering, what is the same thing with what you post on social media, as long as it is your own information. So my own very concern is that information, misinformation, disinformation, and fake news that comes from anonymous sources. There are people who knew the consequences of what they are going to post and what they want to achieve, but they want to do it at a protective and comfortable position where they will not be able to answer for what they have done. So they can create fake news, they can defend somebody's character, they can malign on someone, and then post it without them taking liability. So that aspect, I believe, is what needs to be. But where you have people that are ready to bear the consequences of what they say and what they do, I think we have enough laws to take care of that.
Yeah, before we come back to what you're saying, let us go on a short break. Please stay tuned.
The world is no longer a global village. It is a neighborhood. Generations come and go, but the gist they start lingers. The platform that sustains those gists is here. Be a part of the conversation on Generations Gist with Joy. From policymakers to politicians, medical personnel to traders, labor leaders to students, the young and the old. It's Generations Gist with Joy on this channel every Saturday at 9 a.m. with a repeat broadcast on Sunday at 9 a.m.
It's your generation, it's my generation, it's our generation.
Come, let's tag along on Generations Gist with Joy. Please join us.
You are welcome back. We still have in the studio Senator SHEHU SANI. Like you were saying about the use of fake news, these days there are this AI, like you rightly said, there's this AI thing that is being used to create a lot of things. But some others are also hiding behind the AI, even when they commit certain things, to say it's been used, or is the AI that have been used to do that. What do you say to that? Sometimes some people just commit some things, they say things, it will be aired on social media, and they will come back in defense to say it's the use of AI. They never said it, their voice have been used. Yes. What do you say to that?
I think this is one of the problems we're going to live with for some time until we find a solution to it. Someone yesterday forwarded to me a video of a renowned professor who is known in the literary world, but he is now advertising a product, a product on hypertension, about himself and how he has used that product. The images are his own, the voices are like his own, until I drew the attention of the person who sent to me. I said, this is an AI-generated voice. We now live in a world where you can be cloned.
Yeah.
You can be represented without your consent, and you can your image can be manipulated to suit the wishes of the person who is cloning it. I listened to the interview given by one of the inventors of AI, and I can pick a paragraph within what he said. He said, since the beginning of human creation, everything that has been invented, we determine what it should do and what it will do.
Okay.
But the AI is the first human invention that has the capacity and ability to think for itself and act for itself. And you can see that when you create something that it has a life of its own. then it means you have very little control of it. Two people an AI can be used to create a video of two people doing insane things. It can be used to say things you never say, do things you never did, and then act in such a way that you will never in your life ever do that. So now the challenge before us is, what do we believe if such kind of device or system is in our lives now? So I think until we reach a point where we have devised ways of being able to separate an AI from reality.
Yeah.
But I have seen it, the enthusiasm of the AI in the last few years now is beginning to wane.
Wow.
Because people have started now to get pissed off with what they are reading out of it. And I was also concerned that one of the greatest danger it has created as far as the AI is concerned is how it has now destroyed thinking, destroyed education, and destroyed learning.
Okay.
In those days, people are given, as young people, students or pupils are given assignments to go and do it at home, sit down, use their brain, do research, and whether it's mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, or government or history. But now they simply consult AI. And despite the fact that there are points and tags to show you that this is an AI-generated information or answers, there is also apps that deletes those indicators to show you that it's also an AI.
Okay.
So we are perfecting in the fakery. We are perfecting in the falsehood. We are perfecting in the art of artificial intelligence.
Okay.
So I can say that is an evolution. AI came, and now people have started questioning its relevance, and I believe we will evolve out of it. But for now, we have to deal with the problem.
Okay, I'm talking about AI now, and now coming home to Africa and Nigeria in particular. Do you think the social media has helped or protected our values in terms of social cohesion, the family, and bonding in our society?
You see, it's not just AI, but the coming of the social media and the smartphone system has destroyed a number of things as far as our lives is concerned. It has makes also life better.
Okay.
Let me give you a typical example. When a family goes out for a dinner in a restaurant, they go out to eat and to discuss. But nowadays, when you see them, the father, the mother, and children, almost everyone is on phone. When you visit, when you have visitors in your home, the essence of physical visit is to feel each other, to see each other, and to relate with each other in a human to human form. But now you see both the host and the visitors are all on their phones. You're talking of even in a relationship.
Yeah.
A man visits a woman or a woman visits a man. After the initial greetings, everyone gets to his
now
phone.
On their phones.
Yes. The phone has destroyed a number of things. It has destroyed the human-to-human relationship. It has also destroyed a community-to-community relationship. It has helped in a number of ways, but it has also created problems. Listing those things which the social media has destroyed is that, or the smartphone or the AI has destroyed, is that it has taken photographers out of their jobs. It has made the wall clock, useless. It has made the calendar that we used to hang on our wall useless. It has made even the wristwatch useless. It is making the TV useless. It has also been able to destroy learning and education. It has destroyed the radio as we used to know it, because people now use their laptops and go to apps and get all the information. It has destroyed the print newspaper business. It has taken out all business centers almost out of business. So it has done so many things. And the AI makes even things worse. I saw it sometime. I was watching it on TV. The actors in Hollywood were protesting against AI, because you can use AI now to write a story that will be transformed into a movie. So you don't need script writers, you don't need directors, you don't need all these things. So all these things, you can write a whole book. If I feed into AI healthy foods, how to live with it, I want you AI to write a whole book for me. Within less than 60 seconds, I have a book. And I just print in my name and then start selling.
But that is also, okay, that means there is no proper right to the write-up. That is it. Because it's doctored by AI.
That already is the chaos.
So the thinking is
it's
gone.
Just there, yes. In those days, in our school days, we solved mathematical problems.
Yes.
Whether it is probabilities, whether
equations,
whether it is equation, whether it is algebra, or all those things here, or solving formulas like Pythagoras theorem, all those things here. We use our brain to think. We use formulas and then solve problems. But now you only need to feed the problem into an AI and it gives you the solution. So if we are going to live in that, we are creating a kind of generation that virtually don't think. And if a generation doesn't think, they don't bring anything new. AI has become a monster for us today that is destroying our lives in a number of forms, as much as it is also making it easier and simple.
You're right. Then again, the last 2 to 3 generations have used different methods to interact, like you rightly said, and communicate among themselves. At that point, at a particular time, there was this post office, they send letters. Instead of sitting there and send text messages, the post office were used, the newspapers, the telefax, or fax, as it was called, the telephone, television. Even if I know, like most televisions and TV stations and newspapers, magazines are also using social media. Of course, they are now using social media to actually get to these youth and the users of social media, who seems to be more right now. Now, having used those things, now we have the social media. What will you say social media is really putting people? Is it actually setting them apart, or is bringing people together? Especially for the last 2 generations, so to say, who are presently living. Is social media actually helping them?
You see, human existence is dynamic. What the world used to be 4, 5 years, 10 years, a century ago is not what it is now. And what the world will be in the next 10, 20, 100 years, 200 years is different from what it is now. This interview will be watched by people who are going to live in 2099 and 2100. It's going to be watched by people who are going to live in the year 3000.
Yeah.
For the first time in human history, we are leaving a footprint that will last forever. if we are asking for documents on what happened in the last 300 years, we have to scavenge, and many informations are lost. Many information is, a lot of information is lost.
Yeah.
But the future generation will have no information lost as far as we are concerned. Our children will grow up to watch everything we say and everything we do, long after when we are in our graves. I will not live to be alive in the next 40 to 50 years. But what will happen is that long when I'm in my grave, perhaps the grave has been taken over by weed, my children, my grandchildren will go back and read all we say. We don't know what the next world is going to be. Is it going to be more peaceful? Is it going to be more chaotic? Is it going to be of a different value system than we have here? Nobody knows. So if you are using the paradigm of social media to ask whether people have become more closer or apart, I can give you two answers in that. Everywhere now, if you want to reconnect with your classmates, the easiest way to do it is through social media. All boys and all girls association now have WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
It is the easiest place where you relate. I did my own secondary school in Government Science College, Kagara in Niger State. And this year we had our 40th anniversary. Wow. So we have our 40th anniversary, and we organized that anniversary in our WhatsApp group. And we had a rendition, we had a recall of all that happened during our time by wearing uniforms, going to dining hall, going to our classes, inviting some of our teachers to teach us, recalling what happened to us 40 years ago. Now, we knew that only few of us will live in the next 40 years. So we are doing this, and it's everywhere on social media. And we know that our children and grandchildren,
they're going to watch
in the 100 years time to come, 200 years, they will watch what we have said.
Yeah.
So you see, social media, like the WhatsApp now, has become the easiest communication system for where all boys and all girls meet. So see how this thing, even family now have WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Yes.
They do.
Community have WhatsApp groups. People in government and those who are out of government, they also have WhatsApp group. So you can imagine what it used to be when there was no social media. So in that aspect, it has brought us closer. But the human angle is that because we have contacts of our families, our friends, our relations, so we simply think by calling them is okay without even visiting them. And that is where the humanity, the human angle of us is being lost. So this is what the negative aspect, because in those days, on Saturdays, families visit each other, you know, and then we go there, and then we have a meeting, we eat, we talk, and the children of this sister know their cousins, know their nieces, and relate with each other. But that is not the case now. We are breeding a generation that thinks that relating with each other on social media is the most important. You don't even need to see someone. So this is affecting our African culture, African tradition, African community relation, African family relation that we are used to. We are not Europeans. In European, a family is a father, a mother, and one child or two. As Africans, our families are also our uncles, our brothers, our nieces, our cousins. We live in an extension.
Extended family.
You can't just marry a woman and say she's the only most important. Her family matters to you too.
Exactly.
You can't just get married to a man and then think that he is the most important thing and nobody else matters. That is not us Africans. So the social media system is getting us to be more individualistic and narrowing our family and narrowing our communication and narrowing our relationship with our own kids and kins, and that is not a good thing.
Okay, as Senator SHEHU SANI, what does social media actually mean to you, considering your engagements and experiences even with the youths?
You see, when the social media came, I quickly embraced it because I knew that it's going to be the future. And people, especially young people, in their own thoughts, that the world began from the social media era. Anything that happened before the social media era, you don't see it seriously being discussed on social media. And in Nigerian sense, most of young people who are on social media today.
Please said we'll come back immediately after this short break. Please stay tuned. We'll be back soon. You are welcome back. And still with me is Senator SHEHU SANI. Sir, you were talking about what social media actually means to you. You know, can we be brief about it?
Yeah, well, to me, it is a tool for communication and a tool for sourcing information. It is also a tool for research. To me also, it is a tool for disseminating my views. So this is to me what social media is all about.
Okay, then having related or relating with the youth on social media, I know you are very active on social media. You know, you are one of those great men in Nigeria that are actually active and respond well and interact with the youth of the country. What is your relationship with them on social media, and how has it impacted on you even?
You see, majority of the people in social media are young people for a number of reasons. First of all is that they are technologically savvy, and this technology came in during their own era.
Yeah.
And they have more to say, more to experience ahead than the older ones. So, and the key aspect of it is that they are an angry generation. So they, in their own responses and issues, anything you see that tallies along that their anger, they seem to like it more. And in all that, they don't appreciate other things, but they are anti-authority, many of them. So anti-establishment. So anything that is anti-establishment and that is pro-masses, you see them align with it.
Okay.
That's one aspect. The second aspect is that there are people who are radically social to the point that they love life and they don't want to be bogged down by our own experience and the problems which we had all our lives. So you see them, that is why you will see the social media account of celebrities and sportsmen is heavier than that of politicians. If you go to the social media account of Messi, Ronaldo, you see how heavy it is. You go to that of Beyonce, Shakira, And Nigeria here, Davido, Tiwa, Savage, Thames, and Arasta. You see, very heavy. Kids Daniel and all those things here. You see them heavy. And sometimes what they even say is so useless. But the youths like it because they believe in them more than they believe those in government. You go to a typical handle of a minister or a senator who will be talking about important issues, even that affect the life of even the young people. Like he talk of empowerment, or he talk on water or electricity, you will see like 50 or 60 likes.
Yeah.
But you go to these celebrities and see a celebrity like Davido or Tiwa. That's what in Nigeria. And outside like Jay-Z. He only need to owe Rihanna or Taylor Swift. She only needs to write that I like pink shirts.
And that's all.
I like pink shirts. Now you will see almost 1 million likes. They seem to worship sportsmen. They worship celebrities because they believe in them. Because they sing and they make them happy. They play, they make them happy. So they are not people whom they can hold to account, and they are not within the accounting spectre. But politicians, if you see them in the hand of politician, it's to attack, it's to criticize, it's to send vitriolic messages, it's to love them. So this is what they do with politicians. So I can say that we have a younger generation who are restless, and you only need to understand them that they are not our generation. They are and the next generation in the next 100, 200 years will do a different thing.
Yeah, then let me take you back briefly. Conservative social researchers believe that social media usage is drastically reducing interaction. I'm taking you back to some things you have said, such as meetings, which is now replaced with virtual meetings, especially even in offices. What is your take on this? You can be brief about it.
Yeah, it's the world we find ourselves where people are highly engaged in so many things. And if you can achieve a goal with visual meetings, why will you take the risk? For example, people in Lagos, if you have to move from Surulere to Ikeja, and then it takes you hours to do that, if a visual meeting can solve the problem, then why do you need to? It's the reality that we are living
in right
now.
So, in essence, the social interaction might not be necessary in this case.
It is necessary because we are not visual, we are human beings.
Okay.
And there is a quite difference, even in my own life today. The person that visits me takes a higher point in my life than the person that simply communicates with me online. So what happens if you are sick?
Okay.
Should a person just simply call you on phone or talk to you by messenger video or WhatsApp video and say you're fine? No, you have to be. That's why we're human beings. We shouldn't lose that track of our humanity.
Exactly.
Yes.
Then you are quite engaging on social media, especially the ex-Twitter that we used to call Twitter. You know, does social media actually deliver much? I mean much on return on investment in terms of positive feedback? Though you said something like that, you know, similar things about feedbacks.
Yes. You see, the people who are following you choose what they will react to and what they will respond to and how they are going to respond to. But there are people who are, not all people that are in your timeline are your friends.
Okay.
Some are there simply to continue to respond negatively to what you say. Some are there to monitor you. Some are there to destroy you. Even if they said Facebook friends or social media friends, does not mean it's a friendship in a human friendship form. You are simply a friend by following a person and you don't like, following a person you hate, following a person you are always ready to bring down, This is what happens in social media. So when I post on Instagram or on X, I read a lot of comments.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you get angry with what people say, but later you come to be used to it. Someone has to insult you, someone has to bully you, someone has to say so much bad things about you. But it also gives you the leverage to block him or mute him.
Exactly.
Or mute her. I think that's all.
Yeah,
and the negative aspect, the unusual aspect is that we have wives, we have children, and they go to the comment and say negative things said about us.
Okay.
So they too, if you are a wife, I have wives, I have children, so they are also becoming used to people saying bad things about their own husband, and people also saying good things about their husbands. Okay,
now I know you're a member, of the older generation, even if it's the immediate or second to this one, maybe Gen X, Gen X, yes. So now, what do you think the social media, or how do you think it affects the older generation, especially those who are now using the social media like you? How does it affect them?
You see, there is a different attitude of the Gen X and Gen Z social media. The Gen X are almost at the near twilight of their lives, and they have nothing much to explore. They have seen everything. They have explored everything. Their children have grown up. They have built a home. They have established a life, and they are not starting a career.
Okay.
So their relationship with the social media is different from a younger generation that are in their prime, and they have many years to spend on earth. They have to build a career. They are building a life. They are exploring the whole world, which their fathers have already seen, and they want to go into adventure of things they have never seen. But most of the Gen X there have been panel beaten by life. Many of them have spent, you can see in the toll of their life, the school fees issues, the rent issues, the family issues, the health issues have taken most part of their lives. And as such, they don't want that smartphone device to add to their own problem. So they are also not interested in exploring all the social media apps that is there because it's of no use to them.
Okay.
So unlike when people are just starting their lives.
Because they are also known as the analog generation.
Yes, so their response to those things are very limited.
Very minimal, okay. Yes. To a number of people on the internet, it is a safe place to express, to vent, even bully, like you said. For others, a space not to venture at all, like you said about the older generation. What is your view about this dynamics?
Well, it is a place for so many things. Social media is a place for you to vent your anger, to express your views. And when you express your views and you vent your anger, you have some psychological relief. That at least you have said what you need to say. Because
on social media?
On social media, because there are people who, you have a bottle of anger. For example, you're not happy that the president travels.
Okay.
And you don't have the president's number. And you don't have his wife's number. So you say it to the world to hear so that someone will forward it to the president and say, this is what this person say. Even if the president has not said it, there is that psychological relief that you have really hit on the president.
Okay.
So that aspect of it.
Okay.
Another aspect of it is the point that it is a market. It's a global market where whatever you see is a global parliament where whatever you see, even if the whole world don't hear it, the whole world have access to it.
Okay, I would merge two questions. A lot of our young people now are arguably, more in population, like you said also, and appear to tailor their lives along happenings, and around the social media they call it trending. You know, again, a lot of vices are copied on social media. No doubt, you know. What regulation do you think should be put in place to at least regulate certain bad influencers? Because they copy these people, they call it trends, they call it influencers, you know. So what are the regulations that should be put in place by government or whoever is in charge right now to regulate these bad influencers from showcasing certain vices? I mean vices, especially in Nigeria, because in this country, like you said, they follow influencers blindly. They now they call certain things trends, even the way they say things, the abbreviations, the dress, and so many other things.
Yeah, you see, we live the problem of creating so many regulations is that you force people to now do what they even don't want to. Because if you have 3 trees of apple and you tell people that eat 2 and don't eat that one, they want to eat that one that you tell them not to. So in this aspect, it's a bad thing when people create fake information and make bad things to trend. But social media is also taking care of it in such a way that whatever trends for a day or 2 disappears in the 3rd day, or gradually fades out until something comes in. Recently, there is a video of a man in Equatorial Guinea that has a lot of affairs with many women. And the reaction you would have expected was that 80% of people were critical of what he did. And then you see the 20% now, mostly women, trying to justify what he did. And then some were saying that all he did is not bad, and that why should he videotape all those things now? You see, people think differently, people act differently, but we must have regulations so that there will not be lawlessness and chaos in the society. And if there is any regulation the social media needs, to me, it is just one. Everyone should own up to the information he posts online. And if you share it, your name should also be attached to it. You are the person who shared it. That's all. There is nothing wrong with people expressing any opinion. But what is needed is for us to know who the author is. And there's something I observed with people. Do you know that mostly people insult a person they have never met, or the one that who don't know where they live? If you live in a street, you can hardly see anyone on social media posting about you when you know where his house is.
Yes.
Or when we know where her house is, or where know how her family is. So they would rather insult people from far away who don't know where they live. You cannot see a neighbor and a neighbor living in the same compound, one posting and maligning his neighbor on social media because he knows where they are. So people are more comfortable in sending out information from an anonymous point of view. And if that information is defaming on others, they feel that they will be protected. And that aspect is what needs to be addressed.
Then lastly, sir, would it be safe to conclude that social media has become a necessary evil, all facts considered?
Like everything in life, social media has its positive and negative side. And at the beginning of this program, I made it known that the positive side of it is that it has made communication easier. It has made sourcing information easier. It has made disseminating information easier. It has made relating with people to people easier. It has made it easier for people to promote, advertise, and sell their goods. It has also made it easier for people to buy goods. So this is the positive aspect of it. The negative aspect of it is that it has become a platform for bullying, for abuse, for insult, for defamation, and for promoting destructive and chaos, lawlessness in our society. It has become also a tool for the promotion of anarchy. So that should be seen as the negative aspect of it. So like everything, it has its positive and negative side.
Yeah, and in your own perspective now, and please finally this time, what advice would you have for social media users, especially the youths?
Just some few days ago, I visited a young man who has been imprisoned for posting a content that defamed the character and reputation of someone. And from my interaction with him, he never knew that there is the legal consequences of what he said in that. So my basic advice for young people is that in as much as they want to use that medium to promote the agenda of their generation and to hold government to account, or they want to use it for business, they should also need to be consulting a lawyer to know their limitations, so that they will not be held liable for some of these things here, which they do. But they should continue to use that as a tool for holding government to account. And I want them to know the difference. If I post that the government is corrupt, it's different from mentioning the name of a minister and say it's corrupt. If you mention a name of a person, you can be arrested and you can be charged, and you will only be asked to prove where he has stolen. So whatever you post, just know that you are, make sure you are armed with information that you'll be able to defend yourself whenever you are called for libel. You don't even need to be arrested. You can be sued for defamation. And then you know that the consequences of it is losing a lot of money which you cannot pay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Senator SHEHU SANI. Thank you so much for coming on this show. Honestly, I pray that next time I call you, you will not hesitate to come. I really appreciate your coming. We've been discussing with Senator SHEHU SANI on social media and generational impacts. Well, this is the much we can take on this week's episode of Generations Gist with Joy. But before we go, don't forget to always be a part of this show by following us on all our social media platforms. Please send an email to generationsgistwithjoy@gmail.com for inquiry and further information. Until we come your way same time next week, remember your generation is your identity, and let's continue to be our brother's keeper and remain a patriotic Nigeria. I am Joy Onu. See you next week. Thank you.